Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. So today I'm going to be taking a look at iPhone XS Max in 2022. This is what this video is coming from, straight from the rear camera of iPhone XS Max at Full HD at 60 frames per second. And I'm just going to go through the specs and the design and the camera of iPhone XS Max to see if it's worth picking up in 2022. So if you're interested, stick around and let's get to it. Okay, so let's start by talking about the design of iPhone XS Max. Now, if you've watched my iPhone XR video, a lot of this will be quite similar, but there are a few differences with iPhone XS Max over the iPhone XR which make it a little bit more premium. And first off is the surround of the phone. So you get a standard glass and front back, which of course is standard on all the iPhones now. But the iPhone XS Max, you get upgraded to a stainless steel frame instead of the aluminium that you find on iPhone XR. Now, stainless steel is a much more premium material. You don't even find stainless steel on the surrounds of even standard iPhone 12 or iPhone 13 models. So it's a really nice premium looking phone. And like I said, glass back with your dual camera system and then a big 6.5-inch HD display up front, but unfortunately just a standard 60 Hz. And then of course at the top you've got your large notch which houses all the Face ID sensors and your 7-megapixel selfie camera. Of course, standard, on the left of the phone you've got your volume buttons and your mute switch, on the right you've got your power button, and on the bottom you've got your speaker grills and your lightning port. So in terms of design of the iPhone XS Max, there's nothing that I have to complain about it. It's all very premium, as you would expect even now from an iPhone such as the XS Max. Now, if we talk a little bit more about the display, so like I said, it's a 6.5-inch display with a 60 Hz refresh rate. It's one of Apple's Super Retina OLED displays with a maximum brightness of 625 nits. So it's good visibility outdoors. I mean, it's not the brightest, not what you'll find on newer 13 and 13 Pro models nowadays, but for general use outside, it's still absolutely fine. I had no issues with not being able to see. I just took it out in the garden this morning just to test out what it looks like on a nice sunny day, and there was no problems with it at all. It also supports HDR10 and Dolby Vision, so you get really nice crisp visuals when consuming videos like on YouTube or Netflix or anything like that. So really top quality display on the XS Max. And it also supports the usual bits like 3D touch and True Tone. So the display can obviously adapt to the colour temperature depending on your ambient light conditions of wherever you are, whether you're indoors or whether you're outdoors. So that's a really nice thing that they can adjust, and it's good on your eyes as well. You also get full IP68 water and dust resistance with iPhone XS Max, so the phone can be submerged in water up to 2 meters for up to 30 minutes. So if you drop your phone in the bath or anything like that, just give it a quick rinse off under the tap and you'll be absolutely fine. And as for storage and RAM options, well, there's only one RAM option with the iPhone XS and the XS Max, and that's 4 GB. That is a slight increase over the 3 GB you find on iPhone XR. And storage options, you get 64, 256 or 512 GB options. So there's no 128 GB option with iPhone XS Max. So if you can find one and stump up a little bit more money and get the 256 GB model, that's definitely recommended. I bought this one second hand. It's only a 64 GB model. Now, although I've still got plenty of space left on it because a lot of my stuff is stored on the iCloud, I would have liked to have a 256 GB model because then you haven't got to worry about anything like that. As with all iPhones, there is no micro SD card support. And as for performance, you get Apple's 7nm A12 Bionic processor, which is a hexa-core processor. So it's got 4 low performance cores at 1.6 GHz, and then you've got 2 high performance cores at 2.5 GHz. So it's still a really powerful processor. I've not had any issues with slowdowns, and games run like a breeze on this phone. And it's still a lot more powerful than a lot of the budget Android smartphones that are out these days. So in terms of everyday performance, you've got no issues at all. And don't forget that Apple is really good with their software updates. So although this was released almost 4 years ago, you've probably still got another 2 to 3 years of software updates with iPhone XS Max. So you haven't got to worry about that at all. As for battery power on iPhone XS Max, you get a 3174 mAh battery which supports 15 watt fast charging, and then you've also got the wireless charging which has been standard since the iPhone 8 series. And battery life on the iPhone XS Max I have found to be pretty good. It's a lot better than what I was getting out of my 12, which I think I just had a bit of a dodgy model because everyone else that's got one seems to have better battery life than what I had. I think mine was just generally pretty bad. But iPhone XS Max has been pretty good. It's lasted me a full day with no problems at all. So I can't really complain too much on the battery life of iPhone XS Max, although if you do compare it to the budget Android phones that I've been using, those are just miles ahead in terms of their battery endurance. And lastly, if we just quickly talk about the camera. So on iPhone XS Max you get a dual camera system on the back with two 12 megapixel sensors, a standard wide angle camera at f1.8, and then you get a 2x telephoto camera at f2.4. And as for image quality on iPhone XS Max, it is basically identical to what I was talking about on my iPhone XR video. Photos are still really great coming from iPhone XS Max. They're really nice natural photos with no artificial saturating of any of the colours or anything like that. Detail is really good. Unfortunately there's no night mode on iPhone XS Max. That wasn't introduced until iPhone 11, so low light photos are going to take a bit of a hit, especially if you switch to that telephoto camera which drops to an f2.4 lens. So nighttime photography is going to be difficult on iPhone XS Max, but in terms of photos during the day, really great. Natural photos, like I said, portrait mode gets you nice natural skin tones. There's nothing artificial about these photos at all. So subject separation is pretty good, although a couple of areas where I've got random tufts of hair coming out the side of my head, they can be a little bit tricky for the phone to separate from the background as well. But other than that, they're really good. And then you've got your 7 megapixel selfie camera, which again is shooting really nice natural photos with really good detail, although newer models of the iPhone are getting 12 megapixel selfie cameras, I believe, so it is a slightly lower resolution camera than what you'll find on those models. But in terms of general quality, when you're just looking at them on the phone, they are still really nice. Now, video quality on the camera of iPhone XS Max tops out at 4K, but generally for my uses I've been using the 1080p at 60 frames per second video. Still really nice quality, nice and smooth, and of course it doesn't take up half the amount of space as what a 4K sample will. And then video from the selfie camera tops out at 1080p, which again for me is absolutely fine. I don't need 4K video for anything that I'm doing. Even my videos that I'm shooting for YouTube, I still only do at 1080p. So it's not really the end of the world for me. Okay, now here is just a very quick sample of video coming from the 7 megapixel selfie camera of iPhone XS Max. Now this is full HD at 60 frames per second, and audio quality coming from this phone is actually really good. I found that it is a little bit better than my actual main camera that I'm using to record my YouTube videos. So let me know in the comments what you think of this video quality. And lastly, one thing I'm actually going to mention that I've not actually mentioned in any of the videos that I've done so far is the actual call quality of a telephone. You know, what a phone is actually supposed to be for, rather than just playing games and taking photos and gawping at the display of how nice it is. Call quality on iPhone XS Max is really good. It's very clear. I didn't have any issues where people were mumbling or anything like that. So call quality on iPhone XS Max is really great. And I'm going to try and start talking about call quality on phones, because at the end of the day, that's what they're for. So no issues there. Okay, so that's my look at iPhone XS Max in 2022. And my overall verdict is it's still a really great phone. It's got really premium materials with that stainless steel surround and glass back. You've got wireless charging, really great cameras, amazing performance considering it's nearly 4 years old, and a really nice display. Although it lacks a high refresh rate display, but personally for me, that isn't an issue. So would I recommend it? Definitely. If you can find it, I think you can probably find one for a couple of £100 on eBay. And if you can manage to squeeze out a little bit more for the 256GB model, I would go for it, because you're still going to get 2 to 3 years of updates on iPhone XS Max and XR and those older ones as well. So, and plus, if you're on a budget, it's still a great phone. I'm not going to sit here and go, oh, go for the iPhone 12 or go for the iPhone 13, because if you don't have 500 or 600 quid to spend, but you want an iPhone, iPhone XS Max is still a really great option. So Let me know in the comments if you agree or disagree with anything that I've said, and the chances are I've probably missed something about iPhone XS Max, so let me know down in the comments as well, and let me know if you would buy one or not. And don't forget to subscribe to this channel if you're interested in more videos like this, whether it's iPhones or Android phones, which I've got plenty of Android videos on my channel as well. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.